lengthy and being respectful of your time. I want to try to get you through the meeting as soon as possible. But of course, if you have any questions along the way, let us know. But thank you for being here. With that, I've got a couple of housekeeping reminders. As always, you're reminded that if you're a guest to the meeting, please email rsvp@georgiacourts.gov so we can have a record of your attendance for our minutes. As always, these meetings are being recorded with both audio and visual. It's also being live streamed and is open to the public and the press. As always, during our voting, we will only call for opposition to make that a little easier. And if you're not speaking, I will ask you to please mute your devices. We have some members that are unable to be with us today, but who have designated or not designees to take their place. I'll announce those. Chief Judge Amanda Mercier of the Court of Appeals is unable to be with us today and has not named a designee. Chief Judge Scott Smith from the 7th Judicial Administrative District has designated Chief Judge Jack Niedrak to be with us. Jack, it's always nice to see you. Thank you for being with us. Chief Judge Jeff Hansen, President of the Council of State Court Judges, is unable to be here, but has designated Fulton Judge Susan Edline of the State Court of Fulton County to be here. Susan, it's always nice to see you. Thank you for standing in for Jeff. And also Ivy Cadle, President of the State Bar of Georgia, is unable to be here, but has designated Mr. Damon Elmore, the Executive Director of the State Bar, to be with us. Always nice to see you, Damon. Thank you for taking time out of your morning to be with us. I don't have any special guests, but we do have a new member in light of the term ending for Judge Letitia Deere Jackson. Her term ended as the administrative judge in her service on 12/31 of 24, and I understand that Judge Shondina Cruz Morris is now the 4th Judicial Administrative Judge, and I'd like to administer the oath to her if she is here. So Judge Morris, are you here?
I am here. Are you all able to see me and hear me?
I am. I think everyone else is as well. Thank you for your willingness to do this. Congratulations, I guess, are in order for becoming the Judicial Administrative District Judge and the responsibilities that come with that. Always nice to see you, Shondina, and I want to administer the oath to you at this time. I will read it to you, and at the end, if you agree with it, please say I do. I do swear affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a member of the Judicial Council of Georgia, according to the best of my ability and understanding. That as a member of the Judicial Council, I will endeavor to improve the administration of justice in this state for the benefit of the public as well as the bench and bar, that I will strive to improve the judicial system of this state as a whole, as well as in its parts, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Georgia. So help me God. If you agree with that oath, please say I do.
I do.
Wonderful. Welcome to the Judicial Council, and I know we're all going to be honored to have your attendance and your participation in our deliberations.
Thank you.
On a personal note, and just very quickly, I know you all share in sending condolences to the family of Rusty Smith, who passed. Rusty was a great colleague and an even better friend, and we're going to miss him greatly. But I wanted to recognize his service to our state and to our judiciary. With that, I want to move to item 2 on our agenda, the roll call of Judicial Council members. Ms. Clanton.
I've seen most of y'all, but I'm going to call a couple names just to make sure I've got everybody that's present with us today. Vice Chief Trent Brown.
I'm present.
Great. Welcome. Judge Hamrick. Judge Burt Guy. Judge Stewart.
I'm here.
Welcome.
Hey, this is Burt Guy. I'm here. I couldn't unmute fast enough.
Good to have you, Judge. Judge Maureen Godfried.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay.
We got you.
Okay.
Chief Judge Glanville. Chief Judge Wilson. Judge Neil Brunt. Judge Christopher Ballard.
I'm present and here.
Thank you. Chief Judge Nathan Grantham. Chief Judge David Will.
I am here. Thank you very much.
Fabulous. Good to see you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. Likewise.
Chief Judge Robert Cowan. And my friend Damon Aylmer. Damon. All right, Chief.
All right. Thank you for the roll call. Thank you all of those who were able to attend. I'm sure, Tracy, you'll be keeping track of those that come in late and make sure that those are reflected in our minutes. And speaking of minutes, we will move to item 4 in our agenda. At tab 1 of your meeting materials, you have the minutes of our December 13, 24 general session, which was likewise held by Zoom. If I will, at your leisure, I will entertain a motion that they be adopted as presented.
So move.
We've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you, Judge Sapp?
It was me.
I got you. Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussions concerning the December 13th general session minutes? Hearing none, any opposition that they be approved as presented? Hearing none, they are approved. We will now move on to Judicial Council and committee reports. Yes.
Do you want to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm sorry, I miss it every time. Yes, please. Judge Wolf, thank you for being here. Look forward to this. So please, Judge, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, thank you and good morning. Please join me with your hand on your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Judge Wolf.
Thank you.
Now we will move to Judicial Council committee reports, and we begin with the ARPA Funding Committee report. This is an oral report. There is no written report, and I'm going to make my remarks brief. We have not met since I reported to you at our last Judicial Council meeting in December. We are, as you know, in the final full year of our current grant awards, which have a performance period through December 31st of this year. As of last Friday, January 31st, over $44 million has been reimbursed for expenses under this award. Approximately $36 million has been reimbursed for the calendar 23 expenses, and approximately $8 million has been reimbursed for the calendar 24 expenses. I'll remind everyone there are no other projects associated with this other than, as have been previously stated, to remediate serious backlogs of serious felony cases. As you understand, in accordance with the committee's use of funds policy, which has been previously adopted, our committee has worked with several circuits to assess their current awards and projected spending for the December 31, 24 spending benchmark is 37.5%. I remind everyone of that. Also remind you that during that process of finding out whether folks are consistent with the use of funds policy, $200,000 was voluntarily returned to the committee. I want to thank those circuits and their chief judges for working with us during this cooperative process. As a reminder, this process does not apply to ARPA funds awarded for audiovisual equipment. So the use of funds policy does not apply, as you know, to funds awarded for AV equipment modernization. Also want to update you that the committee will accept applications for new awards and budget amendments. That will include requests for additional funding, and that open period will be from March 31st to April the 11th, which the grant ending period will be December 31 of 25. Details are going to be published for all of that on the ARPA website during the month of March. I remind all circuits that you're encouraged to focus on spending your current awards. As I stated, this is the final year, full year of the current grant, and subject to available funding, we intend to start over with new awards for what will be a 9-month period in 2026. So we're getting toward the end of this process. If you're not going to spend your money, please let us know. We've got circuits that will, and we'd like to redirect some of those funds. The ARPA program in its entirety will end on December 31 of 2026. So this ARPA project for moving the backlog of serious violent felony cases will end on December 31 of 26. The AOC ARPA team is always available to answer questions. I know that many of you have been working with them regularly over the last several years. I appreciate your cooperation, and especially Cynthia want to lift up and elevate the work of Tracy Mason and the entire ARPA team for everything they've done to make this ARPA project a success. So thank you all for your support there. Any questions concerning the ARPA report? Hearing none, we will move to the Presiding Justice Peterson for a report on the Legislation Committee. This likewise is an oral report.
Thank you, Chief. Yesterday was Legislative Day 13. Crossover Day is Legislative Day 28, and in 4 weeks on March 6th. And Sine Die will be Friday, April 4th. Council has previously voted to support 7 initiatives. First, on judicial security, refining the implementation of Senate Bill 508 from last year, which safeguards judges' personally identifiable information. That bill is HB 199, sponsored by Representative Trey Kelly. And it passed out of House Judiciary on Tuesday of this week. Second is House Bill 179, Digital Takedown, sponsored by Representative Tyler Paul Smith. This allows digital takedown as an option for judges in certain court proceedings. That too has been assigned to the House Judiciary Committee, and we look forward to a hearing soon. Third, judicial compensation reform for Superior Court and statewide courts. The Superior Court bill is HB 85. The statewide bill is HB 86, both sponsored by Representative Rob Leverett. We anticipate hearings on both of those in the House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday. Number 4 is creating the Office of Senior Municipal Court Judge. That's House Bill 132, sponsored by Representative Matt Reeves. And that too is assigned to the House Judiciary Committee. House Bill 180 is our 5th item, which really is just a correction of a disconnect in statute. For probate court judges in counties with a population of 90,000 or more, they have to be members of the bar. But the affidavit at qualifying doesn't presently require people to certify that. And so this would just align the required affidavit that statute requires with the qualifications for the office. That is House Bill 180, sponsored by Representative Tyler Paul Smith, and it passed out of House Judy Tuesday of this week. Number 6 is e-filing in probate courts. Legislation on that is still pending as of yesterday. And then number 7, nonpartisan elections for probate and magistrate court judges. My understanding is legislation on that is also still pending. I don't know if Judge Chris Baller has any update on either of those. Feel free to jump in if you do.
No update. You've got everything correct. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Legislation for several of the council's judgeship recommendations has been filed for the following circuits. The Alapaha Circuit is House Bill 55 and Senate Bill 10. The Douglas Circuit is House Bill 88. And the Tallapoosa Circuit is House Bill 93. As a reminder, the council no longer ranks judgeships and simply reports workload recommendations for all those circuits that qualify for a new judge, and simply reports them in order of workload. Alapaha and Douglas have the first and second highest workload value respectively, and Tallapoosa has the 7th out of 8 qualifying circuits. That is all of the substantive update. We're hosting weekly calls with members of the committee and judicial staff, including today following this meeting at noon. We continue to ask everyone to share information and legislative initiatives through the committee, even if they seem only to affect one class of court, so that we can speak with one voice and coordinate as the branch. And please feel free to reach out to me or Tracy Mason with any questions or feedback. And if anybody has any questions right now, I'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions of the presiding justice? While you're thinking about it, I want to thank the presiding justice for his excellent leadership on all of this. It's very difficult to manage all the various pieces of legislation. So he and his committee are due a great deal of appreciation from all of us for what they do to assist the courts across the state. Any questions of the presiding justice?
Chief, I appreciate the kind words, but we have an amazing team at AOC with Tracy Mason and Abigail Horvath and Andrew Zoll and others. And they're just doing a great job for all of you. And, the legislation committee chairs and the leadership of the councils are all really pulling together. So it is a team effort.
Well, I appreciate that and acknowledge it. AOC always does a good job leading these initiatives. Any questions? All right, hearing none, we're going to move to item C on our agenda, which is a report from the Budget Committee and Justice Charles Bethel. Charlie's got an oral report. You can find materials also at tab 2, as I understand.
Thank you very much, Chief. Yes, you will have materials at tab 2 that you can review. My oral report will be fairly brief. The House moved the amended fiscal year 2025 budget this week. It will proceed over to the Senate. Of note, as it relates to the Judicial Council's budget, we did receive support in the House for our Judicial Security Initiative and the IT positions that we had requested in the interim, and so we're very grateful for that and look forward to presenting those on the Senate side. The Senate subcommittee process for the amended fiscal year budget will be up and running next week. We are set to be in front of them on Wednesday. And of course, by passing the amended budget, the House will turn its attention to the fiscal 2026 budget. So that's where obviously most of the big items that we will be tracking will be found. But we're certainly gratified by the support we received in the House thus far, and look forward to continuing in the process. Obviously, if anybody has any questions, I will do my best to respond to them. But I want to follow the presiding justice by appreciating our full staff, and particularly Andrew Zoll. Anybody who has questions about the process, always use Andrew as a resource in that respect. And a special word of thanks to the presiding justice who helped me when I had a scheduling conflict to make sure that we had all of our meetings covered. It's good to be part of a team.
Thank you, Justice Bethel. Appreciate your leadership and the work of the AOC team in pursuing these budget items that are priorities for the state. Any questions? Hearing none, we will move to item D on the agenda, a report from Justice LaGrua on Judicial Security Committee.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief. The JSEC committee met a couple of weeks ago in anticipation of this meeting. We discussed the House Bill 199 and working with the AOC to implement House Bill 199. Hopefully, if it passes out, we'll have some strategies in place to go ahead and get that moving, assuming it goes in July, as I believe it's anticipated to go. We've continued doing training across all classes of court across the state. I was invited to speak at the Council of Superior Court Judges Security Committee meeting and heard about some very innovative practices and ideas that we'll be sharing with the other classes of court. Judge Cynthia Adams from Douglas County has been very innovative with her sheriff's department in meeting with them and coming up with safety plans as it relates to residences and coordinating that. So we'll be doing that. I heard about some additional threats. I would reiterate to everyone that please let us know any threats that are communicated. You can send them to me or the Vice Chair, Judge Rickman on the Court of Appeals. We are continuing to come up with a system to track these threats. We're working with the U.S. Marshal Service. And Chief, we are one of only 2 states in the country that have been invited to attend this U.S. Marshal Service's protective investigation training courses in D.C., which is helping us implement a tracking system. There was a judicial symposium back in November at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, and there will be another one this year, April 21st, that will be more intense, and we will be getting that information out to everyone as it becomes available. That's my report. Thank you, Chief.
Any questions of Justice LaGrua on the report from the Judicial Security Committee? Great work, Judge. Thanks, and keep it up. We appreciate the work of the committee. Next, we're gonna hear from I think Ben Luke or Judge Steve Kelly on the Georgia Case Management System Committee report.
Good morning. Chief Justice, I'm going to, apparently, I think Judge Leonard's at court and couldn't make it with this morning, asked to give it an update on of course, on technology and the case management. I'll kind of do it together. If that's okay with we'll go ahead and start up with the Technology Committee. They met on the January the 16th and received an update from Ben Luke on our website. If you haven't been to the Georgia Court's website, it's up and running, looks great. They're now tracking, of course, some of the user experiences on that, but it's such an improvement over last time. But as users use it, if you see something you don't like, if you just let Ben Luke know it, because the websites are always an evolving thing. Also, we received an update on our AI subcommittees and, of course, and on the CMS project, which I'll talk about last. On the AI subcommittee, which you had a special committee with Justice Pinson on that. We've divided that AI into three. That subcommittee now has three subcommittees to that. And because AI is such a changing happening there, and it's important that it's very exciting, actually. We have one committee that's dealing with access to justice, one that's doing AI adoption, and the other one will be the court use of AI. I'm chairing the AI adoption one. And also we have to review, and that committee got saddled with looking at the Judicial Code of Conduct and how AI affects that. And I'll just kind of throw out a little tidbit. I kind of dreaded that, but now I've kind of got into it a little bit. And we had an expert. We've got National Center for State Courts has all these experts lined up to our subcommittees, and we can kind of look and see what's going on. But we had an expert on judicial ethics, and we got online and started looking at our ex parte rules, for instance, for judicial conduct, and how AI affects that. And I don't want to do any kind of confession here, but I think judges, we sit there and we use Google or Bing on the bench to look up something, and now AI gives us a lot more information than we were asking for. And so what's the judge's responsibility on that? Some fascinating questions. And I think that we'll have a full report mid to late 2025, but that's moving along very well. As to the CMS project update, there was a kickoff on January the 27th where Chief Justice spoke and AWS spoke and the people from Solemn spoke. And I believe that y'all have some slides as to the timeline on that can be presented. There we go. As you'll notice there on that timeline, it's quite an ambitious timeline. This project is in Chief, you may want to, more than I know probably on some of this, but phase one is a discovery phase where they're out interviewing what people need and want. And that's very, very important. Software builders can usually build it if they know what somebody needs or wants. And that's, of course, that's one of the things that this project wants to do is they want to build a product that, not to build a product that nobody uses, but one that can be helpful for those who want it. And I think then the next phase, which will finish out this year, will be actually developing the software. And then hopefully by the end of the year, they'll be able to give it into pilot projects. And then phase 3 will be enhancements. And so this is just, I think, let's see, we have another couple of slides here we can kind of look at here. One, of course, here, defining the initiative. And we spent a couple hours going through all three of these slides, but they're in your materials and people can look at them. But it's going to be, it's more than just a case management system. I think that's a misnomer. It's really a justice project where it focuses on public safety, bringing judges in. No longer is our justice system just one player. It's a lot more than just warehousing data. Everybody needs to share, from the DOC to judges to probation officers. We all need to have access to data for public safety reasons. To make for the legislature needs data in order to be able to manage the judicial system and know how we appropriate things. And so that's really the goal here. And it is a big goal, but I think under the leadership of our Chief Justice here, we're going to get it done. and have a good product at the end of this year that people are going to be proud of and wanting to participate in. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I don't want to take too much time on this. So I'll be quiet if there's any questions, or Mr. Chief Justice, if you want to add anything to this.
Well, thank you for the report, Judge Kelly. I know Ben Luke is here too. If there are questions, I have a couple of comments, but I'll defer to the committee first. Questions? So I'm not hearing any. I appreciate your work on this, Judge Kelly. Especially appreciate Ben Luke and the partnership. This project is going to happen. It's already happening, and I appreciate your couching this in terms of a justice system project beyond just case management. That's indeed what it is, and what it is in other states across the country that have done this and done so remarkably well. Predominantly to improve public safety. That is the primary concern here, and it will, and it has demonstrated that in other states, as well as enormous taxpayer savings to local governments. And so I really think that it's also going to be extraordinarily beneficial to the legislature in helping shape justice system policy by giving them more relevant and appropriate and accurate data. So I'm looking forward to the completion of the project, and appreciate the collaboration and the process of including all system stakeholders in building a system that will be usable. It's not a mandatory requirement that people use it. It is going to be certainly elective, but we hope we will build a system that will be used by everyone, and ultimately improve public safety and save taxpayer dollars. So thank you for your leadership, Judge Kelly. Thank you, Ben, for your leadership. We greatly appreciate it and look forward to the project. We'll next move to item G on the agenda, which is the report from the Court Interpreters Committee. That is a written report that you will find at tab 4 of your meeting materials. You also have a written report from the Grants Committee at tab 5. Certainly stop me if anyone has any questions, but next, the Board of Court Reporting has also submitted a written report, which you'll find at tab 6. Are there any questions concerning any of those written reports submitted by those respective committees? Hearing none, we're going to move to a report from Ms. Clanton, a report from the Judicial Council AOC. Cynthia, thank you for being here and for the report and for your leadership.
Thank you, Chief. Justices, judges, and judicial branch leaders. Many of us experienced intense winter weather since we last met 2 months ago. There's been snow in North Georgia. Downtown Atlanta was a total mess. And there was even snow in South Georgia, where the chief is. We were sorry to hear of court closings due to treacherous conditions all over the state. Thank you for sending us photos of the snow and for sending us copies of the judicial emergency orders to the Supreme Court and AOC for posting on our website. We continue to mourn the loss of Chief Judge Rusty Smith of the Mountain Judicial Circuit. Chief Judge Smith had a long record of dedicated service to the Judicial Council. He was a former member and past vice chair of the Judicial Workload Assessment Committee, member of the ARPA Committee, and co-chair of the Ad Hoc Committee on Judicial Salaries and Supplements. His dedicated service to Georgia will be long remembered. Chief Justice Boggs presented his third State of the Judiciary address to the Georgia General Assembly on Tuesday, January 28th. He noted many of the many challenges and opportunities facing Georgia's judiciary, including several items on today's agenda, such as judicial security, AI, the Georgia case management system. He also praised Georgia's judges for their steadfast work and honoring their oaths of office, thereby promoting the rule of law and preserving an independent judiciary. Recording of the chief's speech and a written copy of the address are archived on the Supreme Court's website. Portrait of former Chief Justice Harold Melton was unveiled at a special ceremony in the Supreme Court courtroom on January 8th. Recording of that ceremony is also archived on the Supreme Court's website. The 2025 legislative session opened on Monday, January 13th. Crossover Day has been set for Thursday, March 6th, and it's anticipated that General Assembly will adjourn sine die on April 4th. As you heard, the Judicial Council Legislative Committee, chaired by presiding Justice Peterson, is hard at work and meeting weekly throughout the session. Please note the AOC has a new landing page. The AOC at georgiacourts.gov/legislation. You're going to find all the judicial legislative resources, including our bill tracking tool and a weekly legislative update published by our very capable governmental affairs team. The Standing Committee on Court Interpreters, chaired by Justice McMillan, met in January to approve judicial bench cards, talk about engaging sign language interpreters, and addressing the use of non-licensed interpreters. Supreme Court recently issued Rule 8-5, which addresses compliance with court rules and orders by interpreters. A copy of that new rule is available under tab 4 of your materials. The Board of Court Reporting sponsored a successful LEAP seminar in December for 86 newly licensed court reporters. This training is designed to educate court reporters on rules and regulations of court reporting in Georgia, and, as the acronym suggests, provides learning essentials about professionalism. Our IT team is working diligently to support the development of a new statewide case management system that Chief Justice Boggs first announced at the Judicial Council meeting last August. Your ongoing input is critical in determining a modern system tailored to meet the needs of Georgia's judicial branch. Thank you to the many stakeholders actively participating and helping us make this project a resounding success. Please reach out to me with any questions and to become more fully involved. Members of our IT team spoke on the statewide case management system alongside Judge Rob Leonard and our private sector vendors, Amazon Web Services and Slalom, at the Council of Superior Court Judges Winter Conference. Members of our fiscal team were also there, including our CFO, Peterson David. Thank you for that invitation and the opportunity to share information with you. The Magistrate Court and Probate Court Judges Days at the Capitol are coming up. They're going to be on Thursday, February 20th. Municipal Court Judges Day at the Capitol is going to take place in a few weeks on Tuesday, February 25th. We love being with you and look forward to seeing you at the Capitol. 34th Annual Georgia Bar Media and Judiciary Conference is going to take place at the State Bar Building in Atlanta on Friday, February 21st, and the Judicial Council AOC is a supporting partner once again. This year's conference features Chief Justice Boggs speaking on public confidence in the courts in a Q&A format moderated by UGA Professor Jonathan Peterson. Other topics include Georgia's news deserts and restoring civility to public meetings. All judges and their judicial staff are invited to attend free of charge. A complimentary registration code was recently sent out to all judges statewide, but if you didn't receive it and would like to attend this conference free of charge, please let me know and we're going to get the registration code to you. Our work to foster community engagement through civics education continues, and we thank Fulton County Superior Court Judge Emily Richardson, Chief Magistrate Cassandra Kirk, and Magistrate Court Judge Todd Ashley for volunteering to adjudicate the Jimmy Carter and Andrew Young Social Studies Tournament for elementary students. We applaud Chief Judge John Simpson of the West Georgia Judicial Circuit, who recently spoke on mental health and the courts of Carroll County. He spoke at a recent Bowden Area Historical Society and Kiwanis Club meeting. Fayette County State Court Judge Jason Thompson visited the Capitol with a bunch of his interns from Georgia State University on Wednesday, January 29th. They had a great day meeting with lawmakers and lobbyists and spent time with our governmental affairs liaison, Abigail Horvath, and intern Addison Hogan, who are actually both GSU law students as well, And they also spent time with the Council of State Court Judges Executive Director Bob Ray. These are just a few examples of the wonderful work being done by judges all over the state to engage the community and maintain trust in our court system. The Judicial Council's Law Day Art Contest opened February 1st, and the entry deadline is April 1st, and that's not a joke. This year's Law Day theme is the Constitution's Promise, out of many, one. Students in grades K through 12 are invited to submit artwork inspired by that theme. We'll be asking our Judicial Council members to vote for the winners at our April meeting. Chief Judge Cynthia Adams is leading Robes Reading Across Georgia 2025, an initiative that links Georgia's judges willing to read to elementary school students with schools all over the state. As an avid reader herself, Chief Judge Adams believes that reading to our children can change the trajectory of their lives. So true. This year's events will take place the week of March 3rd. And if you're interested in participating, please email robesreading@gmail.com. Judge Adams and her team will take care of the rest. A hearty thank you to Clayton County Chief Magistrate Court Judge Keisha Wright Hill for speaking at our AOC all-staff meeting in January. We were inspired by her no-fear approach to achieving goals and effectuating change. Now, I'd like to welcome our newest members of the Judicial Branch family. We have Wheeler County Probate and Magistrate Court Judge Harrelson with her beloved granddaughter Kelsey. AOC General Counsel Jessica Farrow welcomed her new son Reed last December. Here he is with his very proud big sister Lottie. And CFO Peterson David welcomed two twin nephews, Messiah and Nehemiah, last week. Just little guys. The AOC is a service agency for Georgia's judges and a statewide resource. We exist to serve you, the members of the Judicial Council, and our partners. Please call on me anytime to let me know how to support the important work you do each day and to uphold the rule of law. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Your report's always inspiring and demonstrative of what judges across the state are doing to lead. And most importantly, not lead on issues that are solely important to them and helpful to them, but rather leading on issues improving public trust and confidence in our courts, improving on access to justice initiatives, doing that through civics education and otherwise. I think the public would be very surprised to learn how active our judges are across the state at every class of court in supporting our entire state judiciary. So thank you for what you do to support all of them in that, Ms. Clanton, and for what your team does to support them. Thank you. With that, we will move to item 7 in the agenda, which begins with reports from courts, councils, and state bar. You'll find materials, written reports specifically behind tab 8. We start with the Supreme Court, and I have supplied a written report, which you will find at tab 8, and have no further report at this time. Next, I call on the Court of Appeals and Judge Brown to present.
We'll just stand on our report as well, Chief.
Thank you. Next, we call on Judge Hamrick if he's here. Is Judge Hamrick here? He has a written report, and I'm confident he will stand on his written report as submitted. Judge Ann Harris, on behalf of the Council of Superior Court Judges.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. We stand on our written report.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Judge Sapp.
Nothing to add, Chief. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Judge Brunt, on behalf of the Council of Juvenile Court Judges.
I'm speaking for him. We're standing on our report as filed.
Thank you, Judge Harrison. Appreciate that. Council of Probate Court Judges, Judge Chris Ball.
We stand on our report as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Bobby Wolf, Magistrate Court Judges.
Thank you. We stand on our written report as well.
Thank you, Judge. Council of Municipal Court Judges, Judge David Will.
Good morning, Chief. We stand on our written report as well.
Thank you, Judge. And Damon Elmore, on behalf of the State Bar of Georgia, do you have a report?
So Damon is with us, but he's juggling multiple things, and he said no report today, but thank you for your support.
Well, that's an improvement over the reports we normally get. So that's wonderful. We need to ask Ivy to send Executive Director Elmore to us more regularly. They both do a great job. I'm confident that I've talked to Ivy this week, and the State Bar is doing very well. So I appreciate their leadership. Next, reports from additional judicial branch agencies, and we begin with the Council of Accountability Court Judges and Taylor Jones.
Good morning, Chief Justice and members of the Judicial Council. CACJ will stand on our written report, but add that we did release our annual report for fiscal year 24 in January, and a copy is available for download on our website if anyone is interested. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taylor. We really appreciate the work of our accountability court judges across the state. And in fact, I know that Judge Leonard is handling a Veterans Treatment Court graduation this morning. So he is, I'm sure, tied up with that. But thank you for what your judges are doing for citizens of this state. Next, the Georgia Commission on Dispute Resolution, Judge Cindy Morris.
Oh, we'll stand on our written report. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Council Superior Court Clerks, Grant Walraven or Evan Gross. Okay, moving to the Chief Justice's Commission on Professionalism, Ms. Greer.
Good morning, Chief. I'll stand on the written report. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlise. Appreciate all the work you're doing to elevate professionalism among members of the bar, and we greatly appreciate everything that your commission is doing. Next, Georgia Council on Court Administrators.
Good morning, Chief Justice. We will stand on our written report, but we'd like to highlight that we have members from across the state coming for a tour of the Supreme Court on the 19th, and we're excited for our spring conference to have Justice Milton as our keynote speaker.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, thank you for that. Is Lynn Nelson here to give a report on the Institute of Continuing Judicial Education?
I am present, and we will stand on our report. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Veal is here to present on behalf of the Judicial Qualifications Commission. Welcome, Ms. Veal.
Thank you, Chief, and good morning, everyone else. We don't have anything new to report today.
Okay, and next, the Georgia Association of Juvenile Court Clerks. Is Alicia Jacobs or Samantha Cannon here? Neither one, no problem. Okay, moving to item 9 in the agenda. Does anyone have any old business to discuss? Any new business to discuss? All right, we will move to item 10 in the agenda. Just remind everyone that our next meeting, which is a general session, will be held on Friday, April the 11th at 10 a.m., this time in person at the Nathan Deal Judicial Center. Friday, April 11th, 10 a.m. in person, Nathan Deal Judicial Center. And the rest of the calendar 25 meeting schedule is at the bottom of the agenda you all have sent to you. So you'll see that the next Judicial Council meeting is obviously, as I stated, April 11th, but then other meetings on August 15th and December 12th, both one in person and one via Zoom. Is there anything else that anyone would like to raise at this time? I really appreciate all your participation. Try to get through this swiftly for you all because I know how busy you are. Ms. Clanton's report demonstrates how busy you are, and I just want you to know I appreciate what you all do for your respective classes of court in supporting the work of the Judicial Council and the work of all of us as we try to improve the administration of justice in Georgia. So thank you all. Ms. Clanton, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, just have a lovely spring.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for being with us. Have a great weekend.